Hi there. They call me the governor, and I'm just waiting for some people to show up so I can talk to them about Jesus and how he died. Now, I did want to talk about this season of The Walking Dead. Season 9 has definitely been an improvement from the previous two seasons. It's a very interesting program, even though I'm not in it anymore. But this last episode, some of you may have seen my reaction already. And I was very sad to see Jesus die. Maybe he'll rise in 3 days, but I don't think he's that Jesus. But the Whisperers seem to be a threat almost on par with me. Negan, not so much of a threat. But that's just my personal opinion. So, if anyone has any questions or thoughts about this season, please. I'm looking at the chat. I'm pretty sure I'm seeing it right. Now, I must say, this is the first time I have done a live broadcast of this nature. So, there may be some technical difficulties from time to time. I certainly hope not. But since no one is asking any questions yet, then I'll just chat for a while. I'm not seeing the chat. Hold on, I'm trying to see what's going on with the chat because I'm not seeing it. Let me try something here.
There you go.
Ah, somebody said they're a potato. There I am. I'm seeing it. Yes, the man, the myth, the legend, the governor. Someone asked, why are you hating on Negan? To be honest, you were worse than him? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I guess it's just a bit of rivalry. Actually, I think he was a bit of a threat, but he didn't get his hands dirty a lot. He seemed to use his men. Where I got in there, I had Rick right in my hands. I was killing him until Michonne got in. You know, I just think that I'm probably a bit of a better and more fleshed out villain than Negan. But he's going to have some time to become more fleshed out. Now, I did appreciate when he had that one savior who was trying to do something, how shall we say, inappropriate with Sasha, that he took care of that. To use his words, he shut that shit down. But again, I think just, and this is my personal opinion, you are free to think otherwise. I just think I was a better villain. But, you know, he's okay. Now, somebody asked about my kitties. I have two cats. They are not here at the moment, but they will probably pop in. One is a tortoise pattern cat, tawny cat, something like that. Tortoise shell. And that is, her name is Sky. The other cat who wears a nice tuxedo, very formal, that is Garion. Bonus points if anyone knows where the name Garion came from. It's a book series. All right. Do I miss Martinez? Well, that's a very good question. He was a great right-hand man, but he just got too big for his britches. Had to put him down. So, do I regret it? Not as much as killing Herschel, but I regret it a little bit. Now, how would I have reacted to the Whisperers? I think they're definitely taking a very novel approach to surviving in this post-apocalyptic, I can talk, I swear, post-apocalyptic world. So I think that the governor would have been taken by surprise, but his favorite line is kill them all. So I don't think it would have mattered. He would have just tried to find ways to take out as many biters and the whisperers hanging among them as he could. But yeah, I think it would have definitely been a challenge for him as well. All right, let's see. How's the eye? Well, it's all fun and games until you lose one of these. I'll tell you that. Of course, I'll blame Michonne. She also owes me a penny. Now, I know I did say I was over that whole penny thing, but I don't know. It's just something about the way she just shoved that sword through the back of my daughter's head out the mouth. That was rude. She was much nicer with Bernie. But yeah, the eye, well, most days I don't try to see through it, so I think it's doing all right. Ah, Mama Deadhead. Yes, the Bulgarian series by David Eddings. You would win a prize if I had any prizes that I could give you, but you are absolutely correct. He is named after the boy who becomes the king. So it kind of goes to his head. All right. Yeah, if I took Rick's arm, that would have been something. They would have probably just fitted him out like Cable or Aaron. Somebody, let's see. Simon and Merle in a fight. I would have to go with Merle. I mean, Simon was a vicious fighter, but I think Merle would have taken out Negan too. So he was one vicious MF. Can I say motherfucker on here? I think I'm going to say motherfucker. He was one vicious motherfucker. I mean, it was difficult for me to take out Merle. I think he would, in a fight, Merle would have definitely taken out Simon. Yes, Mama Deadhead. That was a great series. One of my favorites. So Epiphany Sweet said you sent Merle to kill her, Michonne. She had to take your eye and put your daughter down. I don't know that that's really a fair thing. You know, when you think about it, when Rick showed up in Alexandria and was talking to Deanna, she talked about how they had to banish a few people. And Rick was like, banish them? He knew what I knew. You take someone and you kick them out of a settlement or they decide to leave. Now, even if they don't intend it, they could be bringing people back to attack you. Now, Michonne could have decided she liked Woodbury, just not me, found some people, and just turned around and ended up, causing a big battle, trying to take me out. Would have been a nuisance. Or even if she didn't want to do that, she could have told people about the settlement, and they could have taken it in their heads to attack. Rick knew this. So I don't think that was an unwarranted response on my part. Now, when she came back and took my eye, it hurt. I wasn't too happy about it, but I do have to say that it was during a fight. My daughter, that is no excuse for that. All right. When I killed all my Woodbury people, was it just a momentary lapse of judgment? Well, I think I judged that those people ran like scared little kids from the prison at, 3 gunshots or something? They just got scared and ran away. Now, maybe my temper got the best of me, but I think that, yeah, she kind of deserved, all those people kind of deserved it because, I needed to downsize, find some better help. Though I gotta say, later on with that tank driver, doesn't know how to use a tank. Supposed to be a trained military man. I thought I was upgrading. You can't find good help these days. All right. Let's see. What do you think about Eugene's theory that the walkers are evolving before you realized it was people whispering? Well, I am not someone who reads a lot of the comics, but I know enough about the comics to know that the whispers were coming. So I thought it was an interesting theory, and I actually think if they took the show in that direction, that would be very cool to see the walkers evolving and becoming more of a threat. Because until the whispers showed up, people treated biters like, unless they were a huge herd, as not much of a threat. And even in Rick's last ride, he was not exactly running from the biters. I mean, he was wounded on a horse. That horse was messed up in the head, I think. But he was riding away slowly. He didn't consider him much of a threat. Only when they actually, catch up to you are they a threat. But they move so slow. So I think it would be more interesting to see the biters, something happen in that brain and they actually do something. That'd be kind of cool. Yes, I chewed Merle's, well, just his fingers, not his entire hand. That's Mark Adams that said that I chewed Merle's hand off. Just some fingers. And I have to say, going to cons, Michael Rooker a few times tried to shove his fingers in my mouth, seeing if I was hungry. All right. Penny was dead. Yes, I did beat the hell out of Merle. Yeah, Penny was dead, and I realize that now, but at the time, you can understand how upset I was. I mean, I had Milton there. He was saying there could be a cure. And that's what I was clinging to. I don't know how many parents are watching, but I have to say, if any parent out there, if something happened terrible like it did to Penny, to their child, they would hold out hope for any type of cure. So not only did Michonne kill Penny, she killed my hope. So I was a little pissed about that. I mean, I realize now, yeah, there was no coming back from that, but you can understand my feelings at the time. And it's hard to reconcile thought and emotion at times. So I'm still a little pissed off at Michonne. All right. Did I ever love Andrea? I think I could have grown to love Andrea. I thought she was interesting at the time, but it would have taken a while. I would have to say no, I didn't love her initially. But did I know that she kind of had a thing for me? Well, even with one eye, I could see that. Someone asked if I miss Andrea. I don't know. She kind of wanted to betray me, so I'd have to say definitively no. If I could choose any three people to have been a part of Woodbury, who would I pick and why? Well, I think Jesus would have been great. He was a great scavenger, great fighter. I also thought Abraham Ford would have made a welcome addition. Though with his military background, we probably wouldn't have had much of a conflict, though, because he was perfectly willing to take Rick's lead. And let's see, who I think, believe it or not, Eugene, because even though I had Milton, having another brainy guy would have certainly helped. Yes, it was just some fingers, damn it. Not fish and tanks guy. Someone said The Working Dead. Wow, you ever take time off? Said didn't take you for a cat person. Thought of you more as fish and tanks guy. More heads in Tank Sky. Actually, when you don't have TV, what are you supposed to watch? So it's just very entertaining to just see him there, but with bubbles. All right. Between Merle and Martinez, who do I miss the most? I would have to say, well, Merle had his issues. I would say Martinez a little bit more. Hi, Echo Gaming 52. And Judith, definitely. Hi, Judith. Nice to see you here. Said I would certainly hold out for my children, no matter how decayed they are. That's just being a parent. Yeah, no, Epiphanes, it's just love is blind, even when you have two eyes. Could you have ever formed a bromance with Rick? Well, if I didn't think he was such a liar and I had actually taken him up on that offer, you never know. We might have seen, pardon the pun, eye to eye eventually. In fact, a lot of the things that Rick did later on, Rick was actually a lot more like me than he wanted to ever admit. So I think we might have gotten past that. But, what's done is done. Can't turn back time. And I think that kind of answers Echo Gaming 52's question. I had 2 times at Rick, and I failed. What are your thoughts on how Negan's second time will go? Well, we don't know at this point if he's going to go after the people in Alexandria or if he's going to kind of try to renegotiate with them to rejoin on better terms. So we don't know. And he can't fight Rick a second time. Remember, he went off in a helicopter. So, but yeah, I just tell you, good help. Hard to find. Carol. I'd love to have had Carol in Woodbury because she would have kicked some ass. All right. Working Dead is going to die at their desk. And then, well, in this life, you either kill or you die. You die, then you kill. All right. Why would you kill a military group? They could have been useful members of your group. Well, apparently, you may not be familiar with the backstory, which was detailed by Jay Bonansinga in The Rise of the Governor, where there were some military people in Woodbury initially, and they were in charge. And they were not exactly the best people for the job. And they caused a lot of problems, a lot of heartache. So people actually rallied behind me to take them out. So the military mindset, I was worried bringing in another military group, especially National Guardsmen, might cause a problem where they might want to usurp my position. And I have the vision, even, again, with one eye, that a lot of them don't. I couldn't trust them to take over. And I was worried that they might try. All right. I'm the governor. That's being selfish. Of course, I'm being selfish. Would I and Negan have teamed up? Really depends on how he approached me. If he approached me with that whole way that he approached Alexandria and wanted me to pay him tribute, no, never would have happened. He would have had a hell of a fight. Though then again, with the people in Woodbury and the way they acted towards Rick's group, maybe not. I don't know. It would have been tough to see. It really depends on where in the timeline. Because if it was after I left Woodbury, if I joined the Saviors, became a Savior, I don't know if I would have worked my way up through the chain of command and worked with Negan, or if I'd take over the whole group. Okay. Thank you, Sean. Sorry that you have to get back to work. Glad you love the videos. And yeah, definitely check it out in its entirety. Hopefully I'll continue. Hopefully I've been somewhat entertaining. May not be reacting directly to videos, but hopefully I'll continue to be entertaining to everyone. Pippity Sweet enjoyed my Reign of Terror way more than Negan. Well, mine wasn't so depressing. That's all I got to say. Jesse Pinkman was driving the helicopter to take Rick to the Breaking Bad movie set. Well, that's cool. Maybe he could use some drugs. Would I like to have Shiva as a pet? I'm a cat guy, so I think I would have loved to have Shiva as a pet. You know, I was very heartbroken when Shiva fell to the walkers. Shocked. I don't think I've ever cried over a CGI tiger before. But yeah, I would have loved to have Shiva as a pet. And the pain that Ezekiel felt, I hear you, guy. Let's see. Must be better not losing an arm, just like from the comic. Well, from what I understand in the comic, I lost more than just an arm. I'm glad on the TV version. Let's see. Would I team up with the Whisperers? Well, Whisperers. Well, I don't know. Again, I've only learned a bit about the comic, but I do understand they're very territorial. I'm not sure if they would be open to teaming up. I'm not sure what the advantages would be. I'll have to think about that one. Maybe we'll do another one of these, and I'll maybe after some more of the season 9 has progressed, and then I'll have a better answer. Okay. What would I do if I were in Texas facing Morgan's group in Fear the Walking Dead? That's a good question. And to be honest, I'm way behind on Fear. So I did see that Morgan got down there and he started making some friends. But yeah, I'm not sure what I would do. I mean, as you can tell, I'm not exactly the most trusting of sorts. So I don't have anything against Morgan. It's possible I might have joined them. Again, it really depends on my situation. Am I in need of allies? Or have I found a new group that's going to fail me at the last minute and I'm going to just have to kill them all? We'd have to see. Okay. Do you think that Daryl's smell could be weaponized to fight the Whisperers? I don't know. I think they might confuse him for one of them just because of how greasy he looks and how much it smells. So he might be a good infiltrator, but I don't know that it could be weaponized. I know Carol cut his hair. She should have bought some body wash. All right. Thank you, Epiphany Sweet. I do want to say the comic version of the Governor looks a lot like Danny Trejo. And I don't think that when they changed to create me in the TV show, I think that was a good choice. Because I don't think someone who looked like Danny Trejo would have been able to be as charming and charismatic. Nothing against Danny Trejo or people who resemble him, but he looks more like he would be running a gang and not leading a town. You know, give him a haircut, a suit, he'd do fine. I don't know if Danny would want that. I think he likes the roles he gets. Let's see. Do you prefer the TV show version or comic book version of the Governor? Now, I'm actually more familiar with the book version of the Governor and the TV show version than the comic book version, though I understand that the book version is who became the comic book version of the governor. So, not being sure of what the backstory of the TV governor is, I'm kind of assuming it's very similar. I'll stick with the TV version. I'll have to say that the TV version's a bit better. Killing Herschel is pretty depressing, though. Yeah, it's actually, now that I've had time to stew and, be dead, not one of my brighter ideas. I actually admired Herschel, and if I hadn't been so enraged by Rick's, what I thought was a very insincere offer, a way to bring us in and then betray us. If I hadn't been so enraged by that, I think Herschel and I could have eventually become friends. But yeah, not one of my proudest moments. Did you take out the Vados? I can't answer that question. I'm not sure what you mean. As a reactor, are they authentic or do they watch before reaction? As a reactor, I have to admit that it's not the first time that I'm watching it when I'm reacting. Because I gotta also say that if I was watching The Walking Dead and people were yelling and screaming and carrying on the way that they do in a lot of the reaction videos, I would shoot their face off. Really, because I want to watch and see what's going on. But I do make note of my reactions as I'm watching it. And then when I do it again in front of camera, then I have the ability to, express them, but I've still seen the show. I do have a lot of respect for those who react the very first time they've seen it. But again, I couldn't watch it like that and talk over, the scenes and not be able to get the full impact of the show. Cat's over here just kind of looking at me. Try to bring him on screen. Here he is. All right. Do I still collect heads in fish tanks? No, I have a pond out back, and I find just putting the entire biter into the pond. Though I do have this wonderful piece here to remind me of those good old days. What was your opinion about Carl's death? I thought it was a shame on a number of levels. I thought he was turning out to be quite a good leader, and I don't think his story was quite done. The reason they killed him off, I'm not quite sure, but I know the actor wasn't too pleased. He just bought a house in Sonoy, so yeah, I wasn't happy about that. Would I like to have Carl as a son, or I'd like to keep Penny? That's not a fair answer. Penny's my daughter. I mean, I would have certainly taken in Carl, but I would have liked to keep Penny, obviously, alive. An epic 6-star governor. What do you think about Carl's plan for the future? Had many problems coming into practice. It was a bit idealistic. I like the way he was thinking, but unfortunately, it never turned out that way. It started down that path, but I don't know what the hell Michonne did, but it is far from the future that Carl envisioned. I think he was a little naive in thinking people could come together like that. All right. So what was my plan for Michonne if I had caught her, or Rick had given her up? There was some pretty gnarly tools that I had. Well, you might say that I was angry, and I wanted her to feel the pain that I felt over the course of days before I finally let her turn, took her head, and put it in a new aquarium which unfortunately I had to go get more because she broke my other ones. But yeah, that was pretty much my plan. Give her a lot of pain. Andrew Hernandez, hello. And yeah, a lot of people cried when Herschel died. Epiphany Suite. Working Dead. It gives me the time to come up with the clever things I say in my reaction. It does. A lot of those things, again, I had the initial thought. Sometimes I refine it a little bit before I do the second take, on camera. Sometimes I edit them. On occasion, there have been things that I said that weren't meant to be offensive, but I realized in retrospect might have been taken as offensive by some people. And rather not go down that route. If I'm going to offend somebody, it's not going to be unintentional. Be 100% intentional. Vintage Michael, first time or not, I'm still entertained. Thank you very much. I do my best. That is the point of these reactions, is give a little commentary, give a little thought, but mainly to entertain. That's my goal. Yeah, Epiphany Sweet says bad move killing Carl. Yeah, I agree. I think Judith is supposed to take his place in the storylines now, such as Bob took Dale's place with his comic storyline. Christopher Collins, who do you have preferred to be Negan's victim? Only one, because I hated the 2 kills. Yeah, I was actually kind of rooting for Glenn to stay alive. I had actually called that it would have been Abraham. Not that I wanted to see him go either, but if anyone had to die between Abraham and Glenn, it's a tough call, but I would have preferred he just kill Abraham. Thanks, Daryl. Wasn't for him. All right. What do you think about the new Andrew Lincoln doing? What do I think about Andrew Lincoln doing Walking Dead movies? I'm very curious to see what these movies are going to be like. I had the impression that he was going to be done with the role, but apparently not. He just wants to not go through the day-to-day and the crushing schedule of doing a TV series, so I can understand him switching over to movies. I'm going to be very curious to see how they explain him not getting back to Alexandria, because Rick Grimes, again, is like me in some ways, kind of stubborn, so he'd really want to get back to his family. He's been trying to find him all that time through that entire last episode of his, so I'm curious to see what they do. And I'm hoping that other projects bring some life back to The Walking Dead, because I think the last 2 seasons were a bit depressing and people didn't like them as much. So we lost a lot of viewership. This one seems to be a new flavor, so I think people should come back. I think they just need to know it's time. All right. I have to scroll up a little bit here because guys are typing really fast. Okay. You had the gun bag Rick gave to the Mexicans after he came back to save Merle. Ah, the Vatos. Is that what those people are called? Well, after we picked up Merle, he'd actually found out about them, and yeah, they kind of had some resources we needed, and they weren't open to negotiation, so yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. They didn't actually explain their name, so yeah. Oops, more people I killed. All right. Would I kill Rick if given the chance? Well, pretty much had him almost dead if it weren't for Michonne, so at the time, I definitely would have killed him. Later on, I mean, he didn't do me any favors. If I had somehow survived, Michonne stabbing me, if Lily didn't come up with the friggin' gun, If I had somehow gotten away and recovered and ran into Rick later, maybe not. Maybe I would realize that it was 2 strikes. I didn't want to go for a third. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Tammy, that you love my reactions. I appreciate that. I have the best reaction videos. I appreciate that that's your opinion. I don't know that mine are the best. I mean, there are some pretty incredible other reactors. I mean, there was Katie O'Shaughnessy. She's amazing with some of her comments. The underdog, Mr. Williams, he can be freaking hilarious. So, but I appreciate that. If I could have chosen anybody to decapitate other than Herschel, who would it be? I think I probably should have grabbed Michonne. You know, that would have probably gave me a feeling of closure. And I don't know that I would have kept her head alive. I might have just stuck my sword through the back of it, out through her mouth. Just a thought. All right. Grossest death of all time other than Glenn and Abraham is Noah. Yeah, I would have to say, though, Aiden had a very similar bad experience. So that was a kind of gross death as well. So he was pretty gory. A lot of gory deaths. All right. Glenn's death was gruesome. Yep. That eye thing, kind of gross. Do I like Daryl, Carol, and Michonne now? Well, thing is, Carol, I never interacted with her. She was on Rick's team, but you know, I really didn't have any contact. Daryl, we ended up capturing him, and there's a cat running around. So if I'm a little distracted, that's why. Let me just get a little sip here. So Carol, I had nothing against. Daryl, I just think he's kind of a dipshit sometimes. And I don't think you can get my director is trying to get the cat to come over, but she's got to come over of her own will. Can't make cats do things. So anyway, Carol, nothing against her. Daryl, I just think he's a bit of a pain to me. Michonne, obviously, the hatred might be not as high because again, I realized Penny was gone, but after seeing the gentle way she killed Bernie for Magna and her friends, kind of pissed me off a little bit, the way that she just rammed through a child's head. So I'm not very thrilled with her. But that was Mama Deadhead. That was a good question. Let's see. Yeah, Epiphany Suite. It was Gerald's fault that Glenn got killed. Don't know why Maggie would actually forgive him for that. Doesn't this eye patch bother while watching, man? Well, that's a good question. My eye patch is not the official released one. It's actually similar to the one that was used in the show. So it's actually not that bad. I can actually still see the camera. My eye closed. It's magic. Epiphany Sweet said Rick would never stop looking for his family. Yeah, I'd have to agree. He's not about to stop there. Would you have teamed up with Terminus and 8 Flash? Tammy Wilson asked that question. People seem to want me to team up with a lot of people. I don't think I would have been down with the cannibalism. I probably would have had a similar reaction that Rick did. Yeah, I would not have teamed up with them. Cannibalism's not my thing. Ryan got clout. Honestly, I'm kind of getting annoyed with Daryl. Hopefully they save him. Look, like do a diskette and throw him away. That'd be awesome. Yeah, Daryl. There's a lot of big brouhaha, a lot of fans of Daryl. They have their favorites, but he's never been top of my list. Michelle says, thank you for your honesty. She's a new subscriber. Thank you. Welcome aboard. All right, let's see here. We're going to try to go through some of these quickly. Vintage Michael, why do you decide to adopt the governor persona? Sure, ask a question that doesn't have a short answer. Well, honestly, I was at a con. Excuse me. Being dead, you get kind of a cough. I was at a con, and as you could guess, I am a cosplayer. And I was dressed as a different character, Captain Jack Harkness from Doctor Who and Torchwood. And someone came up to me and said, have you ever thought about playing the governor? Now, when I started watching The Walking Dead, I watched season 1. I enjoyed it. Season 2 started, and it didn't grab me right away. And I was kind of like, after Heroes had kind of screwed me over, I decided I wasn't going to stick with the series just because I liked the first season. So I stopped watching. And so when this person came up and said, have you ever thought about doing the governor? I'm like, who's the governor? Said he's in The Walking Dead. I said, well, I only really seen season 1. Said, well, he's in season 3. And you'd make a good one. So I looked up some pictures. He looked cool. And then I watched season 2 because I can't watch season 3 without watching season 2. And it did get better, and I enjoyed it. And I got to season 3, and I saw David as a governor, and I said, I could do that. So I actually got the eye patch. I got a non-screen accurate jacket, and people still thought I was a dead-on governor. So it helps that I look like him. And I've also liked him in other things, like on Doctor Who. All right, let's see. Daryl's plot armor is a problem. They must have put the Skybound reaction up because someone saw me on that. Awesome. And they used the Hill Rise again in 3 days. Yep. Had to do it. Admit it, you kind of like Michonne. I liked her in Black Panther. Yeah, let's see. Who's your favorite death fandom? Not sure what you mean there. So if you can clarify a little bit. You may be the governor man, but Rick Grimes, the Grimes is a Rick-tator. Yep, just like Kim Jong-un. How do you feel about Tara switching sides so quickly? Can't really blame her, but I'm pretty indifferent to her nowadays. You know, I was more into her sister. Aiden had guts. Actually, Spencer, he really had guts right inside him the whole time. How would me and Lucille get along? She's a friggin' baseball bat. I might have used her, but yeah, I don't think we would be having chats. Would you be best friends with Negan if you were around to help him kill Rick, or would you fight against Negan to claim all the power? Good question. Negan had an interesting plan. I think, though, we might have had some differences of opinion. And at some point, I think we would have, I might have teamed up with him initially, or, you know, worked my way up the ranks again. But I think I probably would have taken over. And then Rick would have been screwed. How do you feel about the whole season 7 premiere? Do you like that super gruesome episode, or do you not want anything super nasty like that again? Personally, I loved it, but not at the same time. Ryan got clout. I wasn't too concerned with the gore. I mean, it is a horror zombie show, so that didn't really bother me. I didn't like having to wait so long to find out who Negan had killed, and that was kind of cheap to me. And then we got to the episode, we didn't even find out right away then, so that kind of irritated me. But the gore doesn't really bother me. What? Oh, you did shoot that one guy at the prison in front of Carol. So, yeah, I did. Come to find out, his name is Axel, and yeah, I did shoot him. But again, I don't have anything against Carol. She might not like me if she kind of was fond of Axel. What was your opinion about Skybound taking up the Telltale Walking Dead? I think it's great. I think a lot of people wanted that story to end, and I think that was a good move on the part of Skybound. So Skybound takes care of their fans. Who do I miss more, Lily or I think you're meaning to say Andrea? Darkness bloopers. The way you spelled Andrea was a blooper. So good going there. I think I connected more with Lily, especially because she was also a parent. And certainly Megan. I miss Megan most of all. She reminded me of my daughter. It's kind of a second chance. And then I gave Lily one job. She failed. How do I feel about Jesus dying? I'm very sorry to see Jesus go. He was an interesting character, and I did like him. But the way he died, I think it was a powerful statement, and it needed to be made. And I think that he was the only one who could have died in that situation that would have really had the impact. So it was a good death. I salute Jesus. And it's been 3 days, so he should be around anytime now. Thanks, Tiffany Sweet. He doesn't want me to team up with anyone. I'm the governor. Yeah, I can find my own people to screw up. Well, loves away my cat. That was Sky. Jumped at the screen to get the snake. Yeah. She is a character. She does what she wants. I was hoping she'd show up for this, but who knows what she's doing right now. She's playing with a stick. She doesn't have a snake, so she's got a stick. But thank you, Lori. Do you normally lie to little kids by saying you're a pirate after being asked what happened to your eye? What was I supposed to say? That a black ninja woman stabbed me with glass from my own aquariums? It was a fun little lie. Yep, throw them away. Thank you, Epiphany Sweet. I try to be great as a governor. If I had one weapon to finish off Michonne, what would it be? A corkscrew. Take a long time. All right. Will you go to Walker Atlanta? I'd love to meet another fellow reactor. I was just at the last Walker Atlanta. It's a little too soon right now to think about the next one. We'll see. It's I've been going for quite some time to Walker Stalkers, and it seems to not be quite the same atmosphere as it was in the beginning. So we'll have to see. I'm not ruling it out. We'll have to see where we are at that point. I will be at Walker Stalker, New Jersey, which is not this weekend, but the following. So anyone who's going to be there, I'd love to say hi. And just come from this side because I may not see you over here. All right, Governor Rapp, smell the gunpowder, see the blood. You know what it means the governor's killing the. Nice rap. Was that from something? That'd be cool to see. Epiphany Sweet, missed you. I was around. I actually was running around quite a bit in the celeb area. We did some interviews, so yeah. Sorry that I missed you there. Michonne was not in Black Panther. You better check again. Oh, you mean Spencer? Yeah, I'm not sure. Might be my accent. Mark Adams is asking, sorry to get off track, but what about a woman being Doctor Who? Because you love Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who as well. And I think the Doctor being a woman is a fine thing. This Doctor, no matter the gender that obviously she's a woman, I haven't grown as fond of her as previous Doctors, but then again, Capaldi took a while to warm up to me. So I treat her like any other Doctor. She is the Doctor. And I think it's great. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens for the New Year's special. Epiphany Sweet, how sweet. You would bring me back to kill Negan. No one cares about Axel, though Lou Temple's a nice guy. That was a cold way to take out Andrea. Yeah, but she was kind of a bitch. Person over there is an Andrea cosplayer. Don't think I should have stayed being one. Don't think you should have stayed being one-eye Bry. Or don't you think you should have stayed being one-eyed Bry? I loved him better. Yeah, it was kind of a hopeful time for me. I was actually changing. I was changing my attitude, rebuilding my life. And that Brian persona that I took on, which was it me taking that on for the first time, or in the books was I reverting to actually who I was? Read the book. But yeah, that's that was a better part. If it hadn't been running into Rick and that whole thing, maybe it would have been maybe I'd still be alive. Can I come get Tara? No, they can keep her. Let's see. Do you think Shane would have made a better dad than Rick? I don't know. I think he's a bit more of an asshole. I think he would have tried. Then again, he might not have had mystery phone calls from his dead wife. Or Lori, because they weren't married. If you locked up Michonne and chains, like how you're planning on, what exactly would you do to her before you killed her? I think I answered this already. Give her a lot of pain. A lot of pain. Deny was in Black Panther. Let's see. It's messed up that Michonne killed Walker Penny in front of you. Yep. I agree. Mike the avocado, 651. Does that mean the avocado is 650 and previous? A lot of avocados. And yeah, you go after someone's child, you got a death wish. Were you pissed that you came back and Tyrese hallucinations, but not in Rick's hallucinations? That is a very, very good question. And that's a situation I'm going to remedy. So here's a little announcement, a little sneak peek. We are planning on filming a Rick hallucination that you did not see in his final episode featuring moi. So keep an eye out for that. I would too, but I only have one. And that will be hitting sometime in December, because we're going to be shooting that weekend after this one. So give me a little time to edit, but you may see that. Okay. Governor, you got the best quotes into Skybound TW combinations today once again. Thank you so much. I'll have to check it out pretty soon. We're actually getting towards the end here, so I'm going to try to get through a few more questions before signing off. You don't want Tara. She was yours first. Oh, no. Finders, keepers. Losers, happy. Were you drinking during your reactions? Recommend it. All right. I wondered if that would come up, especially when I had the bottle of Kraken rum that Jesus sells on the table during my reaction. I drink Pepsi Max during my reactions. I prefer not to get totally trashed. Now, one time I did drink some kind of sangria, but it wasn't enough to get me drunk. So I wouldn't necessarily not recommend drinking during your reactions, but I actually don't. You know, I'm kind of on the wagon in hell. All right, let's see. Who's being cute? Oh, the cat's over here being cute. So I did promise a little bit of a cat. So we did get Garion. So he's very interested in coming over and saying hi. Dan's Reviews. A shout out. Hey. Dan's Reviews. Glad to see you here. And send me a message. I'm going to go on a limb and say you do reviews. Might have to check those out. Who would you rather have you survive the apocalypse and kill Rick? A, Shane, B, Gareth, C, Negan, or D, the Whisperers? Help me survive the apocalypse. Do you really think I need help surviving the apocalypse? I just needed help saving myself from Michonne, actually. Yeah, I'd have to say that... well, Shane couldn't kill Rick. Gareth couldn't. Negan couldn't. I'd have to send the Whisperers after him. Okay, do you plan on reacting to other series? I love your reactions, but now it'll be 2 to 3 months without The Walking Dead. Yeah. And actually, I've been thinking about reacting to Fear, catching up on that, and then starting to react to that. That might happen, but I don't think the next season starts until April. I might do a few reactions to like an entire season, kind of a rehash reaction and show some scenes, but that's up in the air. I do know that on this channel, there's going to be a reactor to Star Trek Discovery, if that's something that you watch. And it's going to be reactions by someone who's I'd have to actually admit he's a little more powerful than me. His name's Q, so just keep an eye out for that. Would you be willing to react to old episodes of The Walking Dead? Possibly. Maybe I'll put up in the community tab a poll and see if people are interested in that. If enough people are, maybe I'll give it a shot. I'll go back and start from the very beginning. Okay. Big boy Gary. Hi, Kyle. How you doing? Cats are adorable and comedy gold. Without them, I'd be nothing. Thanks, Governor. Review Walking Dead Game of Thrones, and a lot more. Well, I'll take a look. Sounds cool. Sean is a badass. Yeah, Morgan. Clear. You'd love to see reaction to old episodes, especially the ones with the governor in them. Yep, I think that would be kind of cool. Well, it looks like I've caught up on here. the end of season 8, where Eugene sabotaged the bullets, I thought that was a very sneaky plan, and I'm glad I did it, because Negan just pisses me off. But we've been here for an hour. I really appreciate everyone stopping by. And let me know if you'd like more of these chats in the future. This was kind of fun. And maybe the cats will decide to make more of an appearance instead of just lying over there facing away from me because I'm ignoring you. Sorry. But everyone, again, thanks so much for watching. And we will see you next time. Until then, Governor out.